Hey guys, so a few weeks ago it was announced that the Halo Online services were going to be disappearing from the 360, and wow, that hit me pretty hard. so I thought I'd make a video talking about my experiences and giving tribute to some of my favorite games ever. But while I could talk about all of them, I think I just want to focus on the one that had the biggest impact on me. So with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. The date was January 2011. I remember that my dad took me to GameStop by our house to get me a late Christmas present. I remember walking the walls of what was once my favorite store to go to, browsing all the Wii and Xbox 360 games. I remember seeing games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Dead Rising 2, both of which I didn't have yet, but out of all the games that I saw that day, there was only one that captivated me. I've never played a Halo game before, but something about that cover spoke to me. I didn't know what the people on the front were, but I knew that they looked cool, and that was enough for me. I looked at my dad and told him that I wanted that one, and he looked at the M rating and raised an eyebrow and said that I would have to ask my mom. I told him that I had Call of Duty and that Halo was like Star Wars, but really I had no idea what I was talking about. But once he heard that, that was enough for him. Once we left GameStop, all I could think about was trying this game. I knew a few people that talked about it in school, and I too wanted to be in the know. So later that day, once I was back at my mom's, I turned on my 360, and what waited for me was an exciting and new adventure. After seeing that opening cutscene, I got goosebumps as the music swelled and seemed to lift me up right from my bed. It was a powerful experience, and for the next 2 years straight, this game had my full attention. Halo Reach was responsible for some of my most cherished gaming experiences growing up. When I first got it, I didn't even have Xbox Live, but seeing that progress bar go up every time I completed a mission was a huge motivator to increase my rank. I mean, I spent hours in Forge just dicking around trying to get more credits for new armor. That is until I got an Xbox player's worst nightmare, the Red Ring of Death. I couldn't find the picture I took of it, but it was the one with 3 bars. After I got a new Xbox, I thought it was pretty cool to say that it happened to me, but at the time, I was destroyed. I finally found a game that I really meshed with, and then that happens. However, soon after, thankfully my mom got me an Xbox Arcade and with it, Xbox Live. So now I could play with other people across the world, and Reach became the forefather of my first experiences playing an online game. Boy did I have some fun playing online. There were things to do that I couldn't have even imagined still playing offline. My favorites had to be Living Dead, Big Team Battle, and especially Invasion. Something about progressing to other hardpoints and zones just felt so nice and fun in the big maps that Halo had. It's upsetting logging on today and seeing that there is a grand total of 0 people queuing for a match. At least Slayer and Living Dead are still kicking, and even sometimes SWAT. Oh, SWAT. That's what separated the boys from the men back in the day. I would also be remiss if I didn't talk about some of my personal stories about this game. First and foremost, I met a lot of people playing Reach. So many in fact that I would see recurring people that I had muted way back in the day, even after a few years after I stopped playing regularly. But my main squeeze that I met from this game is JoBro357. I mean, it felt like we would talk and play daily, and we even became friends on Facebook. We've drifted apart over the years, but we occasionally still say what's up to each other, and my love for him has definitely stayed the same after all these years. So JoBro, if you're seeing this, I'll always cherish the moments that we had together, and I hope things are going well for you, brother. Another great memory that I have is that for my 7th grade spring break, one of my best friends, Eli, came over to my house, and I kid you not, we played Reach for 7 days straight. We couldn't get enough. It was nothing but pizza, soda, and Halo. A perfect recipe for a great childhood memory. Speaking of Eli, I would go over to his house and bring my Xbox to play with his 2 other brothers. Playing 4-player local split screen was eye-straining, but damn was it fun. I distinctly remember that every time Caleb, Eli's older brother, died, it was always because of the reload, even if he was using the energy sword. And since I'm talking about multiplayer, I have to talk about Grunt Birthday Party. Grunt Birthday Party is an armor effect, meaning that when you die, this happens. It was awesome. One day in either late middle school or early high school, I went over to my friend John's house to sleep over. We stayed up all night trying to get 200,000 credits just to buy Grunt Birthday Party. And you know what? We did it. It was a long night of grinding with a festive payoff. Being exposed to Halo also put a lot of really great YouTubers on my radar. Rooster Teeth was a big one for me. Every week I look forward to a new Fails of the Week, which showed some hilarious clips. Another great channel that I still watch to this day is So Fallen Films. Back in the day, Halo machinimators were a dime a dozen, but So Fallen's videos and style always stuck out as a peg above the others to me. He even still makes them to this day, and they're still just as entertaining. One last channel that I have to mention is Halo Reach Forges. They were on Machinima back in the day, and they showcased tons of fun Forge levels made by people. And these guys showcase some sick maps. Since Machinima's dead, if you want to check these old videos out, the name of the channel now is Kenburn7. I'll link every channel I mention in the description, so everyone can find these great creators. Speaking of YouTube though, it was around this time that I started making videos of my own. All I did was point a camera at my TV, but I'll always remember how fun making those old videos were. The credit system, looking back, is one of the best progressions in multiplayer that I've seen. This was the time before loot boxes and pay-to-win mechanics, so to get all the items, you just had to play the game. The longer you played, the more you got rewarded. What an absolutely perfect way to progress. And what the game does have to offer in terms of unlockables is so appealing. It's all cosmetic when you boil it down, but you can really find a sense of identity with the armor. Hardly do you see two players that look the same in the same lobby. It also helped that every piece of armor felt realistic and cool. This made everyone seem unique, and this armor system is something that the Halo games following have failed to capture to this extent. Here's hoping that this makes a return in Halo Infinite. As a 12-year-old at the time, no other game had blown me away as much as Reach. Halo, much like Star Wars, has a good way of showing, and not always telling their audience, what is going on. The world seems vast and huge, and I had a lot more questions than I did answers. Who are the Covenant? Why are they here? How many of them are there? Do we even have a chance? I don't know! And that's a good thing, because it kept me wanting more. So much more, in fact, that after I played Reach, I went on to play every subsequent Halo game. It worked out perfectly too. Though Reach was the 5th main Halo game, it's the first to take place in the overall timeline. This newfound love even got me so hyped for Halo 4 that I bought the special edition Xbox for it. Oh yeah, definitely worth the $400. Even though for a time I moved on to the other games, I kept coming back to Reach. She was like an old friend. No matter how much time you spend apart, you always feel like you're home when you're back together. This whole time I've been talking, I realized that I haven't really touched on the core elements of the game. I mentioned multiplayer a little bit, but I cannot stress enough how well executed the story is. It's very dark and intense, and it takes its tone seriously, but it also has moments of exhilaration and excitement. Above all else, it emphasizes the sacrifices of the few for the greater good. It's freaking sad. I mean, just when you start to form an attachment with these people, they start dropping like flies. It's kind of like Rogue One, only the twist is that you actually care for the characters when they die. The story climaxes when you are the last one standing, but not even the player is safe from their fate. Thankfully, your memory lives on, as a pillar of hope that humanity will prevail, no matter what. It's a sad, but meaningful end to a great story. Moving on from the story, Firefight is another super fun game mode. It's something that Bungie brought over from ODST, and I have had so much fun playing this. You basically just fight wave after wave of enemies until you die, or beat all the waves. The amount of control that you have is amazing. You can spawn in with power weapons and fly around the map, or you can make it a bare-bones survival, giving yourself nothing. Last but not least, the Forge gives you the ultimate sense of control, and I cannot tell you how many stupid maps I made up with my friends. They were bad, but they were also just as fun when playing with your homies. To top off all these things, just like with every other Halo, the music is beautiful. Martin O'Donnell always provides Halo with the best music, and Reach is no exception. It truly was a sad day when I found out that these games' lifespans were coming to an end. I know that me and millions of other people cherish these games deeply. I've sunk so many hours of my life and countless school nights just playing and having fun with Reach. Not too many games have had that big of an effect on me. Thankfully, people can still play these gems as part of the MCC, but it doesn't quite have the same feel as the originals, at least to me. I have to give 343 credit though, as all of the games that are featured have all their DLC, and it's probably the best way to play with your friends now. At the very least, I'm glad that I can say that people can still have fun with these games in some capacity. I'm so thankful to Bungie and all my friends who made my Halo experience possible and fun. I will always remember the good times that I've had playing all these great games. I will remember the people that I met along the way, and I'll remember the sleep I lost playing my heart out. But most importantly, I will remember Reach.